There was a boy who lived in a small village near the mountains. His name was Caleb. He had a younger sister named Lily and parents who worked hard to keep food on the table. Life wasn't easy, but they had enough. Caleb loved his family deeply. He'd walk Lily to the well each morning. He'd help his father repair their roof when the wind damaged it. He'd sit with his mother in the evenings while she mended clothes. But Caleb had a problem. He couldn't let things go. When someone spoke badly about his family, he'd confront them. When a neighbor accused his father of taking more than his share of grain, Caleb would argue until his voice gave out. When other boys mocked his worn-out shoes, he'd fight them behind the market. His father would shake his head. "Son, you're bleeding yourself dry." "I'm defending us," Caleb would say. "No," his father replied quietly. "You're giving them exactly what they want." Caleb didn't understand. How could protecting his family be wrong? How could standing up for what's right be a mistake? One day, a merchant came through the village. His name was Marcus, and he was loud, rude, and impossible to ignore. He'd set up his stall in the square and shout about how the villagers were backwards, how their goods were worthless, how they'd never amount to anything beyond their muddy streets. People tried to ignore him. They'd walk past with their heads down, but Caleb couldn't. Every word felt like a stone thrown at his home, at his family, at everything he loved. On the third day, Caleb approached the merchant. "You need to stop," he said. Marcus grinned. "Stop what, boy? Insulting us. We've done nothing to you." "Oh, I'm just telling the truth." The merchant's eyes gleamed. "Does truth hurt your feelings?" Caleb's fists clenched. "You don't know anything about us." "I know enough." Marcus leaned forward. "I know you're all too weak to do anything about it." The words lit a fire in Caleb's chest. He wanted to grab the merchant's collar. He wanted to make him take back every cruel word. His whole body was ready to explode. But then he heard his father's voice in his memory. "You're giving them exactly what they want." Caleb stood there shaking. The merchant waited, smile widening. The villagers watched, and Caleb walked away. He didn't storm off. He didn't mutter threats. He simply turned and left the square. Behind him, Marcus called out mockingly, "That's right. Run away, just like I said, weak." Caleb kept walking. Each step felt heavy. People would think he was a coward. They'd say he couldn't defend his home. The shame burned worse than any punch he'd ever taken. He walked to the edge of the village where an old woman named Alina lived alone in a tiny cottage. She was quiet and rarely spoke to anyone, but people respected her deeply. Some said she'd traveled the world before settling here. Caleb sat on a stone wall near her garden. He didn't know why he'd come. Maybe because he couldn't face his family yet. Maybe because he needed somewhere quiet while everything inside him screamed. "You're angry," Alina said. She'd appeared without him noticing. "I walked away," Caleb said bitterly. "Everyone thinks I'm weak now." "Are you?" "No, but I didn't fight back. That merchant said horrible things and I just left." Alina sat beside him. "Tell me something. When dogs bark at the moon, does the moon bark back?" Caleb frowned. "No." "Why not?" "Because it's the moon. It doesn't need to." "Exactly." She picked up a small stone from the ground. "This rock is solid. If I throw it in water, the water moves around it. The water doesn't fight the rock. It doesn't argue with it. But tell me which one wins." "I don't understand." "The rock sinks. The water remains." She placed the stone in his hand. "Fighting isn't always strength, Caleb. Sometimes strength is knowing you don't have to prove anything." "But people will think." "Let them think what they want. Their thoughts can't touch what you are. Only you can give them that power." Caleb looked at the stone in his palm. It felt heavier than it should. "The merchant wanted to fight," Alina continued. He wanted you angry, loud, desperate to defend yourself. Why? Because then he controls you. Your anger belongs to him. Your peace is gone. And what does he lose? Nothing. He walks away smiling while you burn inside. So I should just let people say whatever they want. No, you should choose your battles with wisdom. Some fights are worth fighting, but most are traps. They promise victory but deliver only emptiness. She looked at him steadily. You didn't lose today, Caleb. You won. You kept something the merchant can never take unless you give it away. What? Yourself. Caleb sat with those words for a long time. The stone in his hand felt warm now, like it was teaching him something through the silence. Went home that evening. His father was sitting outside carving a piece of wood. I heard what happened, his father said. Caleb waited for disappointment, for judgment. Instead, his father smiled. I'm proud of you. I didn't do anything. Exactly. That took more strength than any fight would have. The next day, Marcus was still in the square, still shouting, still insulting. But something was different. Fewer people were stopping to listen. His words seemed to bounce off the air, landing nowhere. He tried harder, grew louder, but the village had already moved on. By evening, he packed his things and left. He'd gotten no reaction, no crowd, no power, just empty words in an empty square. Caleb watched him go. He felt no triumph, no satisfaction, just quiet. His sister Lily tugged his sleeve. Why didn't anyone fight him? Because we had nothing to prove, Caleb said. Weeks passed. Caleb noticed something changing inside him. When someone made a careless comment, he didn't feel the old fire. When arguments broke out in the village, he could walk past without needing to join. When his own mistakes bothered him, he didn't attack himself the way he used to. He'd learned something simple but profound. Not every challenge needs an answer. Not every insult deserves your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. One evening, Alina called him to her cottage. I'm leaving the village soon, she said. But I want to give you something first. She handed him a small wooden box. Inside was a mirror, old and slightly tarnished. What's this for? Caleb asked. When you're tempted to fight, look into it. Ask yourself, am I fighting for something real, or am I fighting because I'm afraid of what silence means? The answer will show you what to do. Caleb carried that mirror with him for years. He didn't need to look in it often, but knowing it was there helped him choose peace over proof, presence over performance. He grew into a man who didn't need to win every argument, who didn't need to prove his worth in every moment, who understood that the strongest thing you can do is refuse to lose yourself. People respected him not because he fought, but because he didn't. His peace became his power. His silence became his strength. And when his own children grew old enough to face the world's cruelty, he taught them the same lesson. Not with lectures, not with rules, but with a simple truth that had changed everything for him. You don't have to fight every battle. Some victories come from walking away. Real strength isn't about proving yourself. It's about keeping yourself. Win without fighting, not because you're weak, but because you're too strong to waste yourself on battles that don't matter. So here's my question for you. What battle are you fighting right now that doesn't deserve your peace? What would happen if you just stopped? If you let the noise be noise and kept what really matters, yourself? If this story touched something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment about a time you won by walking away. And if you want more wisdom like this, stories that heal while they teach, subscribe to this channel. Let's build a community that values peace over proving, presence over performance. Your peace is precious. Guard it like treasure. That's how you truly win.